Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash, trending news and entertainment.
Hey everybody, I'm Andrea Jackson.
I am Mitch English, and we're welcoming you to Daily Flash. We're all alive and rocking and rolling this morning.
Cheers to 2026. All right,
Here
we
we
go.
go. We're still enjoying
Yes.
Here we are, what, 5 days into the year?
I think
Love
so.
it.
Yeah. I mean, we're just cooking at this point.
Cooking with
We're
gas.
Cooking with gas, right? James Alexander joining us now. He is our social media guru. James.
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, man.
Hey, my fingers are working to the bone because of all the comments that we're getting. So I continue to need to work, okay? So I need you to go to our website.
We like that about you.
DailyFlashShow.com. Go to all our social media pages. You know, we're on everything, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. We want to see your comments. We want to interact. And you never know. You may get a coffee mug from somebody named Mitch English.
That's true.
Oh.
You know what? I will. All right, well, I only have a certain amount, so if I don't get to you,
Will you sign it?
I'll sign. If you sign it, I'll sign it as well. But it won't have the Mitch Please on the side of it.
Can I tell you something? I got home the other day, and Mitch had put a little something in my bag, and I got it out this morning to open it up, and this thing falls out of it. And I'm like, what is this? And I can see Mitch's face, and it's like the cartoon
my
version of
cartoon
it.
face, yeah.
It was a magnet that he put inside the package, and it's like, Mitch, please.
I went with magnets.
I love it.
Can I tell you
love
why I
it.
went with magnets? Because these are stickers, but I went with magnets because I could throw them on the back of people's car and they won't be as mad. But I could do
true.
jokes like that.
Yes.
So who knows, that hot car of yours, I would love to have my face on the back
So
of it.
petty,
I'm-
but so fun.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'll put it on the back of the car.
Oh, you're sweet.
I
Thank
love
you.
that. Okay, a new Harris poll is revealing a powerful shift in how Americans view the milestones of adulthood. Home ownership no longer simply a financial aspiration. It's become sort of a rite of passage. For many, it's become the gateway to marriage, family, career decisions, even personal autonomy.
Right.
Younger generations restructuring their lives to accommodate rising affordability barriers. 71% of aspiring homeowners are delaying a major life milestone. Nearly 1 in 5 are postponing marriage or having children. And more than half of first-time buyers do not expect to own a home until the age of 40 or later, which was surprising. 84% willing to make concessions to buy, including side jobs or relocating. And 1 in 3 would consider co-buying with friends or co-workers.
I'm hearing more and more about that too.
Co-buying.
You better like that person.
Oh
man.
my, I could just see a nightmare unfold.
Because you hear about stories about roommates, just renting a home.
Yes.
Things going sour, but you're buying a home. Ooh, you better like that person.
Buying with a friend.
I don't know if I can do that.
That just sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. Home ownership now shapes identity as much as financial planning.
Sure.
And brands that understand the emotional weight of this milestone can better support younger buyers who are navigating a delayed adulthood. I mean, at age 40, if you're still renting, either you're making some really smart choices and you don't mind not having a home, but I'm thinking at 40,
Just throwing that money away.
you are.
That's what they
That
say.
is true.
Yeah, well, okay, and then last year, President Trump talked about a 50-year mortgage.
Yes.
I don't know the benefit of that, but people don't keep homes for 50 years
No, they do
anymore.
not.
And I had talked to some home loan mortgage officers, whatever. And by the way, mortgage officers have badges. I always want to know that. Like, why do they call them officers?
They should have a badge.
I'm a
Maybe they have a magnet.
Magnet, who knows? If they're that cool.
Yes.
They're talking about, that 50-year, you don't really save a whole lot per month. But I think people are thinking, because we are in a society where you're like, I'll just get another one. Oh, I'm going to move.
Yeah.
I'm going to do whatever. I do think because of what we had seen during the pandemic where people are starting to work at home, we are seeing more jobs where you can stay at home.
Yep.
And you can use your home as an office and then the tax benefits there. I think it's actually good that people are waiting to buy a home or major life decisions. I think that, and I have to walk a thin line because I'm so grateful I have my kids. One of them's I want you to know that. But if I do it over, I would have waited and be a little bit older. To
have kids.
To have kids. Imagine, I became a parent at 21 years old. So
I can't even.
Right?
Yeah. I can't even begin to tell you how backwards I was at 21.
Right, and my frontal lobe wasn't even
Yeah,
done developing. Here
I
I
know.
am procreating, and but my kids made me who I am, and and I tell them, and I'm happy that they're waiting. They're in serious relationships,
Yeah.
and they're not just getting married all of a sudden, and maybe that might kind of transfer over to buying a home as well. But I really think they're losing out on some financial advantages.
Have any of them bought homes yet?
No, they're not buying a home either. I
Okay.
think they're trying to figure out really life. Do they want to stay where they're at right now?
Yeah.
That is something, it's hard to do. If you buy a house, you got to commit yourself to being there for a while.
Yeah, and I think this report, this Harris poll was correct in saying it is kind of a gateway to a new life, because once you do decide to buy a home, there is a sense that you're going to settle down there for at least 5 or 10 years before you decide to move on or sell or rent.
And I have to tell you, I know they always say, well, if you move, you can just rent out your other home. I don't know if I'm interested in being a landlord.
No.
Because
Most everyone will tell you don't
do
want to
that
be
at
a
all,
landlord.
right.
Yeah.
All right, well, speaking of home ownership, actually, it's time now to look at some homes you really would love and the
Yes.
lifestyles of the rich and famous as we dive into some celebrity real estate.
Okay, we start with NFL quarterback Russell Wilson and his wife Ciara. Ciara?
I think it's Ciara, yep.
Ciara. The couple recently toured a mansion that's on the market for $30 million.
Wow.
Could you imagine having that kind of money? The house hunt comes
Look at that.
right shortly after Wilson signed a 1-year, $10 million contract with the Giants, and after just one season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The 7-story home features a striking
Wait.
exterior.
7 stories.
Yeah, 7 stories. Inside there are 8 fireplaces.
Wow.
At least one for every story, plus an elevator, huge staircase, outdoor space on the entry level. Design details include high ceilings, hardwood floors, lots of natural light. Looks like a cellar right there.
Yeah.
A formal living and dining room built for entertaining, along with a chef's kitchen. There's also a screening room, several dens, a home gym, along with a stunning rooftop garden.
You look at that, and that is great. And I just think, you have to clean it, and you have to put stuff inside it. But if you're making a lot of money, I guess that's what it is. It's
Yeah,
all
but you're
relative.
right though. Like, I feel like you have to pay. You've got to have a lot of help to maintain something like that.
And then there was a shot where it was a staircase, and all there was 2 chairs right down. There's like this whole room right here. Can pop that
Just
real
2
quick.
chairs.
That just 2 chairs. Like, to me, that's a waste of room. You know what I'm saying?
I want to see the 2 people that are sitting. Will Russell Wilson and Ciara ever sit in those 2 chairs?
Right.
Never.
Think about
Not
that in
a
your own
chance.
house, right? How many times I never
Yeah.
go. I made this great outdoor kitchen. I never go out there. I need to do
No.
it. I mean, I used to when we first had it.
Yeah.
But now
And
I
you
don't. The microwave's out there because that's where we have the microwave. That's about the only time we do it. Real estate mogul Barbara Corcoran has proudly revealed a sneak peek inside her new $16 million Manhattan penthouse. 76-year-old Shark Tank star announced plans to relocate earlier this year when she listed her longtime penthouse for $12 million. She noted at the time that her husband was no longer able to navigate the staircase of their 2-story unit. She walked through her new sprawling pad, showcasing the expansive floor plan, the wooden floor, and the high ceilings. The real estate guru showcased the chef's kitchen with white cabinetry, state-of-the-art appliances. Corker had then revealed one of the bathrooms features a marble vanity. She went around showing the wraparound balcony. It also features several seating areas, flowers, panoramic views of the city as well. TV tycoon says she plans to make some major renovations to her new home. She would know about it because she's in real estate, made a lot of money
no
doing it.
kidding. I love those parquet floors. But yeah, I would imagine she's going to do a full renovation on all of this. James, what do you have to say?
We have a straight connection to Barbara Corcoran. We all are friends of Quentin, who is married to her niece.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Again, and he
So
couldn't
we
go
get-
up and down the stairs, so he could never go to Russell Wilson's place with the 7 stories.
No, but he could sit in those chairs.
Right, that's about it, and watch people go up the stairs. Interesting.
All right, very good connection there, James. Thank you. Well, let's head across the country where music legend Michael Feinstein just sold his West Hollywood, California home for $3.7 million. The 4-bedroom, 4-bath home comes with stunning city views with 3,600 square feet of living space located just above Sunset Boulevard. Home has hardwood floors, natural light. There's a large sunken living room with a fireplace. There's also a dining room, wet bar, lounge with a TV, along with a chef's kitchen that opens to the garden. Upstairs, main bedroom suite comes with a fireplace, double walk-in closets. Also features spa-like bathrooms. There's a media room plus 2 guest rooms. Downstairs, there's a gym, a laundry room, and plenty of storage space.
Really cool. Then we have the CEO of retail giant American Eagle looking to sell his Florida penthouse, $33.9 million.
Ooh, boy.
It's his 3rd attempt to sell the home in Miami. in the past year. The property hit the market in late 2024 with the same asking price. He bought it $5 million in 2006. Gallery-like residence includes 4 master bedrooms with bathrooms, a chef's kitchen, an executive office, staff quarters, extra parking. You're going to need it. Other high-profile residents include people like Brad Pitt and Cher. Interesting. A closet. If I had to go extravagant, I think I would love to have a whole room that's a closet.
Yeah.
I think it's purposeful. I mean, you can do it, right? Use it.
Yeah, and I think so. When it comes to, would you have his and hers closet?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Of course, Liza's would be like a normal size closet. Mine would be
Yeah.
as big as it was.
Hers would be like one shelf and like a couple hangers, and that would be it.
That's how it is
Which is
now,
amazing.
almost.
Yours would be the rest of the room. I love it. Stick with us. Today's Trends, tomorrow's Talk. We've got you covered right here, right now. We're back right after this.
Life Love Shopping is a weekly 30-minute lifestyle show hosted by Andrea Jackson. It's focused on the latest trends for your health, home, and happiness. Life Love Shopping offers viewers ways to improve their life and style, wellness, and relationships. If you live it, love it, or buy it, Life Love Shopping will talk about it.
We start today's show with the happiest jobs in America. A recent study found physical therapists take the top spot when it comes to job satisfaction.
Life Love Shopping, your life and style guide from A to Z.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Andrea Jackson. There's been an uptick in divorce rates, and the trend has nothing to do with cheating or happiness. Joining us to talk more about it is Josie Cox. She's a reporter for Business Insider magazine. Josie, welcome to Daily Flash.
Thank you so much for having me.
So what first drew you to this topic of the trophy husband, I guess?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. So I have been covering gender and the economy and the intersection of gender and power and money for about 10 years now. And one thing that has really struck me over the past few years is that we've really got these two different trends going on. On the one hand, we're seeing a lot more women in the C-suite, in positions of power, at the highest echelons of businesses. We're also seeing a lot more women being the primary breadwinners in couples. So doing more of the work in the paid labor market, while in heterosexual couples, the man stays home and maybe looks after the kids. But at the same time, we're seeing things like the gender pay gap widening. We're seeing things like the divorce rate in couples where the woman is out earning the man going up, which indicates that on the one hand, we are really progressive. We are trying to move into a world in which gender is no longer a barrier to anything, but there's still resistance. And I think a lot of that is down to social conditioning.
Yeah, and I think it's a very delicate balance too. Which statistic in your reporting shocked you the most when you were doing this story?
Yeah, there were a lot. And what I would say as well is that the statistics are not abundant. So this is still a topic that needs a lot more research for us to understand it properly. But generally speaking, from the data that I saw, what shocked me most was that the more traditional a relationship is, so the bigger the pay gap between a man and a woman, favoring the man, the higher the chances are of the marriage being successful. So basically, we are still being rewarded in terms of the success of our marriages when we stick to those traditional roles in the household, when we stick to that kind of model of the breadwinner husband and the homemaker wife.
And how do those gender norms still play a role feeding into those statistics?
Yeah, I think they play a huge role. So I spoke to probably about a dozen experts, everything from economists to psychiatrists, psychologists, marriage counselors, to kind of get to the bottom of these stats. And one thing that almost all of them said to me, that a lot of this is probably down to the way that we are conditioned from a very young age. So kids, as young as 4 or 5, essentially being messaged that there are still roles that women are more likely to do in the household, and there are still jobs that are more kind of the domain of men. And that early conditioning and those early norms, if they're established at such a young age, they're really hard to break. So even if we think that we are progressive, even if we think as a man that we are all about championing our wives and very supportive of the fact that they are the breadwinners, that they are reaching their economic and professional potential, there might be more to that story underneath the hood.
And Josie, I'm sure in the reporting, you've got some advice for couples. So what can couples do to try and avoid this trap?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think there's a silver bullet. I think it's going to take a long time for these social conditions to be dismantled. But generally speaking, I think one thing that really does help is open communication about money. A lot of the couples I spoke to said that money was still kind of an elephant in the room. Money, of course, also being a sort of shortcut to power. So as soon as you're talking about money, you're talking about power, you're talking about these dynamics in relationships. So the more open we can be in couples in terms of talking about money, our feelings towards money, what money means to us, how we're also tying up money with self-worth. Because a lot of the couples I spoke to said that there was a direct correlation between their self-worth and how much they were making. The more we can talk about that, the more likely we are to be in happy relationships, and the more likely we are for those marriages to last.
Josie, this is a fascinating topic. We could spend at least a couple hours just talking with you. Thank you so much. We're going to post this interview on our website at dailyflashshow.com. Good stuff there.
Good
Mitch.
stuff indeed. Business Insider, you can also find more information there. And then there's this. Thank you there, AJ. Check this out. Canadian airline WestJet is shaking things up in economy class, and it might make your next flight feel a little stiffer. All right. They just announced they're going to be removing reclining seats from standard economy on 43 of their Boeing 737s. That's right. If you want to lean back, you can. You're going to have to pay for it. I'm not joking. The new fixed back seats are supposed to give passengers more personal space, though the math seems to work mostly in, well, it looks like WestJet's favor. The redesign adds, an extra row, plus some comfort upgrades, adjustable headrests, better cushions, power outlets, tablet holders, even faster Wi-Fi, you know, the things that are on every other plane. And if you're upgrade to premium or maybe extended comfort, congratulations, you still get to recline. Yay! WestJet says the move actually keeps fares lower and prevents those mid-flight seat back wars that turn friendly skies into cage matches. But let's be honest, calling it more personal space is when the seat doesn't move at all. It's kind of like calling instant coffee artisanal. You know, if you think about it, right?
Right.
So if you're flying WestJet anytime soon, go ahead and just stretch before you board, because once that seatbelt's on, you're basically in posture prison. Still, at least you get a little faster Wi-Fi. You can complain about it online in real time. Have you seen this floating around? It's not on any airline yet, but it's double-decker seats where your feet goes underneath you climb up to the top seat and it goes underneath.
Like a theme park ride almost, where your feet are dangling over the passengers below?
And they're more, your feet are going still underneath the seat in front of you, but basically you can kind of look down at the person in front of you.
God.
The only
I'll
time you can
stand.
look. Exactly. It's close to it.
We're almost there.
And the only place you're going to look down on anybody is first class. Let's get that right.
It's true.
Today's trends, tomorrow's stock. You got Daily Flash.
This is Tim. Tim is all about time. And if you've ever had a chance to look into Tim's cold, dead eyes, you'll see that it's time for you to follow us on social media. Sure, there's 10,000 social sites out there, and we don't have the time to name them all. Seriously, just ask Tim. So take the time to look for Daily Flash TV on your favorite social sites and start following us. That's all the time, Tim. Goodbye.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Daily Flash. All right, Mitch, what do you think is the loneliest day for singles?
Loneliest day is Arbor Day, without it. No, I would about Christmas time. Everybody's thinking, because they don't have money for Christmas and it's a family thing. So Christmas?
You would be wrong! Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, that is the most popular guess. A new survey from dating.com names Halloween. Halloween is the loneliest day for anyone without a someone. 79% of singletons admitted to tearing up at the sight of families showing up on their doorstep with their kids dressed in costumes. Experts also say the wholesome activity can spark sentimental feelings of a wholesome time in the past. And the cute photos of couples dressed up in matching Halloween costumes plastered all over social media do not help either. 73% of single adults say social media makes Halloween loneliness even worse.
So, you could get ghosted on Halloween. How about
you could get ghosted.
I can buy into that. It is, but I think you should look on the other side of that. It's a great night to be single, because that's the one night you can be somebody else.
That is true.
And you're probably going to party, and if you're out partying, you can blame it on the alcohol.
Yes.
Or the character that you were, right? I was Mitch English. Of course I was handsy. But on the other side of it, imagine if you are a single and moms and dads bring their cute little babies to the doors and you're seeing a couple, you're seeing what you probably want down the road. Makes complete sense.
Or if your friends are in a couples and they're like, we're going to a costume party and we're dressing as X, they've got matching costumes or whatever, so that sort of adds to like, man, I'm not a part of that whole thing.
So don't buy your couple's costume in March because in October you might be walking around as a horse's ass somewhere, right? By yourself.
Well, like that guy right there.
Yeah, like this guy, yeah. Look at him. Not even a shirt on. Poor guy. So we'll figure out what he is there.
He must be single.
He's
for
very
sure.
single with those short arms with a dinosaur. All right, what world are we living in when an article begins with a line like this? Thou shalt not tie the knot to a machine. Well, guess what?
Oh, boy.
The Buckeye State is now looking to ban marriage between humans and their AI counterparts. Experts say marriage can actually grant humans legal powers over other people. But the bill, if it is passed, will stop AI or a robot for assuming the role of a spouse and giving them power of attorney. It will also prohibit them from making medical or making financial decisions on behalf of their spouse. Also included in the Ohio bill is a clause banning any AI from owning or controlling real estate, intellectual property, or financial accounts. And again, as I said, what world would we ever think that we would have to say this? But this is the beginning of every.
It.
Yes, this is the very beginning of iRobot or whatever, where everybody's friendly with robots and giving. And I think I can't recall the movie, but it was talking about giving robots rights. Should they have rights? But
yes,
I mean, it's different than humans.
I would have never thought of this until I read this article, and I thought to myself, oh, that's so true. If you marry an AI robot or a robot for that matter, what sort of rights do they have to you or your estate as a spouse? Right. And could you imagine, let's say somebody and this happened. I mean, it's just nuts, but you have to get ahead of this in order to create laws and rules and regulations to protect people against it.
And, and the way that these robots and even, just AI, where it's headed, how realistic they are. So, and you can't, this doesn't work for people that, you say they're robots because they just lay there and moan, but huh? No, we'll edit that out.
That's a different kind of robot.
Oh, it is. Yeah. So, but you think it is something that, it's kind of like the internet. I remember when it first started, there was no law.
No law.
It was like, what's going on?
Wild
We don't
West.
know. So I applaud Ohio for taking the first step to maybe get this in the consciousness of people and realizing that this is going to be an issue.
I just think from a kid's perspective, if you're a child of an adult, let's say it's an older adult, you've got a parent that might be widowed or single, and somehow they end up down this rabbit hole. Then you've got to protect them not only from, scams and whatnot, but now you have to protect them from AI robots. I know it sounds absurd, but it's something that we're all kind of on the verge of facing.
Like right now, we say it's absurd.
Yeah.
It's going to be commonplace. You're going to go back and, we're throwing this out in the ether. This is the recording. You're going to go back and people are going to make fun of us saying like, of course it's commonplace. Look at these, thinking that it's,
why
weird.
isn't it, why can't he leave his entire fortune to the robot?
Right. And I think also it does protect humans,
yes.
Obviously, and those that, let's say they do wind up marrying a robot, because robots, they're going to make you feel really good about yourself, right? And so they are very convincing. And if you don't believe us, add Jackson and I on Sora, and you will see how realistic the things are. And I know it's just video, but eventually it's going to be those robots.
It's a little scary.
All right, your thoughts on this? We want to hear them, right?
Please do. Head to our website, dailyflashshow.com. More Daily Flash when we return.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash, trending news and entertainment.
Hey everybody, I'm Andrea.
I'm Mitch English. This is Daily Flash. We're so glad to have you here for sure. Yeah, we got today's trends, tomorrow's stuff.
We're also glad to see James Alexander every day. Who is watching us and where, James?
Hey, people are watching us all over the world, from streaming to YouTube, to all our social channels. American Forces Network as well, and of course our 219 great TV stations all over the country and beyond. Now, if you want to check us out, just go to our website at dailyflashshow.com and click on the Where to Watch tab. Now, our local friends today are KBBA TV in Des Moines, Iowa. Everybody's messes it up. They always say Des Moines. I'm like, what is going on? All right, a couple of fun facts about Des Moines. The city's name means of the monks. No one knows if there are any monks ever lived there, but you know. And the city is still heated by a system of tunnels that run underneath it.
No way. Really?
So that you were talking about Sacramento, how there's an underground Sacramento, and now there's an underground Des Moines. That I never knew.
That is interesting.
Underground Des Moines. There's a lot of cities that have these like tunnels and stuff like that. Obviously people don't talk about it, but I know like in Utah, you can go literally across the city almost in some tunnels. Oklahoma City, when I lived there, and unfortunately I discovered it too late. But there's all these tunnels. Some of them are closed off. They don't want people to go, and they go right up to the city hall and such.
Is that so?
It's kind of neat. Of course, we know New York and other places have those. So.
Interesting. That's always so fascinating.
All right, let's jump into some things. Crazy things happening. A man in Ohio arrested after he made the mistake of sending a bag of crystal meth through the tube at a drive-through bank.
Oh, of course.
46-year-old Jason Smith, he made the meth deposit at his local bank. He says that he drove away from the bank, then he realized what he did, right? An employee at the bank immediately flagged the bizarre deposit and called police after tasting it. She probably grabbed some, that whole teeth thing they did where they put it on their pinky and then rub it on their gums. Yes. I don't know what that does.
I'm sure the bank teller did that.
I'm positive of it. So they called out the K-9 unit. They brought in really to the dogs, help the officers out. They knew something didn't really smell all that right. He was arrested, booked on drug-related charges. Here's the thing. If you're going to do stupid stuff on meth, just stay away from banks. And then what did he do with the money is what I want to know. What would you think he was, like, how do you mess that up? How do you do that?
How do you deposit the meth instead of the money? I don't know. I mean, I guess you're not all there.
What if like sometimes when I had the kids,
moment.
we'd ask for the lollipops all the time. And
yes.
I would say, can I have one too? And they would always give me
the dum-dums.
The dum-dums. Remember
he
those?
is a true dum-dum.
There you go. There's the dum-dum.
There's the dum-dum.
That's what meth does to you. Ordering through banks.
Kids, don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. Stay off school. You stay in school. Your teeth are going to thank you for it.
Yeah, it's so true.
All right, we have in Philadelphia, the statue of Rocky is really big. I think there's a Mr. Rogers statue or somewhere around in where we're at here. But there's cities like that have actually embraced their people, right? Well. Now, an 11-foot bronze statue of RoboCop installed, where else? James's hometown, Detroit, after basically 15 years of planning. If you remember, RoboCop was based in Detroit, the movie was.
Oh,
That's why. The sculpture inspired the actor who played RoboCop, that's Peter Weller back in the 1987 movie. It was installed outside the production studio in Detroit's Eastern Market. Statue finished in 2017, but legal issues involving licensing approval actually delayed the installation.
Oh,
so they couldn't get like, all right, who owns this? Who's going to go there? It's one of those where, hey, RoboCop, it's classic Detroit, right?
Yes. I like James doing the robot.
That's very good.
Good
robot.
work, buddy.
Did you see the remake of the RoboCop?
No.
There was something cheesy about the first one that you just appreciated.
Yeah.
Right? I'll buy that for $1 if you remember that the TV commercials and the weirdness. And during that time, like the Running Man was the same way, where it was campy, but it was cool.
And I didn't like the new Running Man. I just watched that the other night.
And I was like, didn't capture it all.
It didn't.
It was one of those.
Missing something.
Watch it on streaming, maybe on the theaters. You're right. Well, welcome back to Daily Flash. Thanksgiving travel this year is expected to be really the busiest, actually on record. And with all the busy travel, well, that comes to travel cyber scams.
And our next guest has tips on how to protect yourself from online travel scams. He's the author of Protect Yourself from Online Scams, Fraud, and Predators. Please welcome to the show, Igor Pinchevsky. Igor, welcome.
Igor, thank you so much for being here.
Awesome. I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
You have to be on top of this.
Yes.
Because first off, we get busy. We get so busy, we forget what you're about to talk to us about. And it's very important that you guys pay attention to this because it ramps up this time of year, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanksgiving 2025 is projected to be the busiest on record. The Economic Times and NPR are showing projections of increased both domestic and international travel, which means Thanksgiving travel scams are going to be a record high as well.
That makes sense.
You say awareness is your first defense out of everything else. What do you mean?
Absolutely. Benjamin Franklin once said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Knowing about these travel scams will save you a lot of time, money, and frustrations.
All right, let's go through some of these where people are getting scammed. First off, you're saying that these fake booking websites?
Fake booking websites and ads. Yes, you come across an ad that has a cheap flight or hotel deal of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Too good to be
It
true.
looks like from a trusted source like Expedia or Booking.com. You click, the site looks real, but it's not. It's a lookalike designed by scammers. You book, you pay, boom, your money's gone.
And the best way to figure out that it is, how do we tell? I mean, is it with that little S where HTTPS at the top?
A couple of things. What I highly recommend is never click on any ads.
Okay,
if
right.
you see a special offer from a trusted or familiar source, go to that website or app directly.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Make sure you only pay by credit card, nothing else, because credit cards gives you the most amount of protection for any kind of online purchases.
Yeah.
And remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
All right. And that brings us to the next one. Look out for phony listings for Airbnb, hotels, and flights. We've had so many nightmare stories about Airbnb.
Absolutely, yes. You find that perfect vacation rental spot. You show up ready to enjoy and relax, but the place doesn't exist. It's just you, your suitcase, and your kids' sad little faces. The one thing you want to make sure is you book those types of vacation from trusted sources like Airbnb or VRBO.
And Verbo maybe as well. Yeah, make sure you're doing there. Okay, let's move. Our next one is the emails offering those travel deals. That's obviously a big thing. These emails, again, if you don't know who they're coming from, I mean, especially if you didn't subscribe to it, right?
Absolutely, phishing emails. A lot of times we see during this time of year is email from your hotel or airline saying, look, your trip has been changed or canceled.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right? Click here. You click and boom, just like that, they get your email, they got your password, they got your money.
Wow, that's scary.
You want to make sure you never click on any unsolicited emails or text. If you do think or feel that this is potentially a legitimate email, go to the website or app where you booked that trip directly and check the status.
Yeah.
The other thing we recommend, find the original email confirmation, call the customer service number from that email.
That's great advice.
I didn't know they were still around, but fake travel agents.
Me neither.
They'll call you or email or what?
So these smooth talkers promise to handle it all, your dream vacation, without any hassle. The only thing they're booking is your money straight out of your account. Couple of things to look out for. What we recommend is ask friends and family for any recommendations of travel agents that they've used and had positive experience with.
Yeah, great advice.
Yeah. Only pay by credit card, nothing else. And very important, make sure there's a clearly defined agreement or contract in place that shows all of the details, your flight confirmations, your hotel, dates, travel. Make sure there's no surprise or hidden fees that you might end up paying. And very important, make sure it's clearly defined terms and conditions on rescheduling, changes or cancellations.
And Igor, really quickly, I would imagine, it's basically yes or no, same rules go for these emergency travel scams as well, right?
Yeah.
Just look out that.
Absolutely.
Makes complete sense. Have a great and safe holiday.
Bon voyage.
Hey, Mitchie.
Hey, Jackson.
Yeah, I want to talk about that big story coming out of Hollywood.
Hold on, wait. I want to get Matt in on this call, all right? Hold on.
Hey, what's up, Mitch and Dias?
Matty!
Mitchie.
Mateus.
Mitch, my man.
Matty of Berkshire.
What's going on?
Hey, AJ wants us to talk about a big story that's happening.
This kid, the Kiki, says hi. He has his own Instagram.
That's great, Matt, but I really want to talk about this big story coming out of Hollywood.
Ooh, dog and cat! It's
You should check it out. This kid, the Kiki.
I want to know what's going on.
What?
Oh, okay, so real quick. Why does he still have a dial-up modem?
Hey, I gotta get back to wrestling stuff.
It's on the media.
You know what? Maybe we should just try this later.
Okay, all right. Peace and love.
Daily Flash.
Where are you?
It's just better when you're part of the conversation. Join us online.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English. It's time for us to check in with Tony Toscano to find out what's coming out of Hollywood and straight to your screen, no matter what size you're going to watch it on. With the latest, here's Tony.
Thanks, Mitch. Streaming on Great American Family is the romantic holiday film, A Wisconsin Cherry Pie.
Hey, Dad. Emma! Guess who I ran into the other day? Mitch Henriksen. He's single, you know.
We broke up like 15 years ago.
Emma?
Mitch Henriksen.
Were you trying to avoid me?
No way. I wouldn't. Why would I do that? No.
A pastry chef returns home for the holidays and must choose between her dream job and her family's cherry orchard business. I chatted with stars Katie Leclerc and Ryan Carnes.
Oh, I think they'll take away a part of the country that maybe they weren't familiar with. I think Door County, Wisconsin really shines through in a big, big way, and I think that's one of the things that makes this film pretty unique.
They'll take away from it that it's never too late for love, and sometimes we live life on life's terms, and you know, when life sends us in a particular direction, even if it's not the direction that we thought we were going in, sometimes it's the direction that we're supposed to be going in.
If you're looking for something to watch to put you into the holiday mood, A Wisconsin Cherry Pie might do the job. Although pretty formulaic, the film is jubilant and well acted. Again, A Wisconsin Cherry Pie is streaming on Great American Family and gets a B. It's not rated. Streaming on Apple TV Plus is the 5-part documentary series, Mr. Scorsese.
What I wanted to do, and not with a gun, I would go in, find out where the rough cut is, and break the windows and take it away. They're gonna destroy the film anyway. You know, so let me destroy it. I'll destroy it. But before destroying it, I'm gonna steal it. Spielberg and a number of others said, Marty, stop that. Marty, you can't do it. I said, the more they said no, the more I said it was good.
Directed by Rebecca Miller, the film follows the life and career of legendary filmmaker Martin Scorsese.
Well, first of all, I hope they either revisit films they've seen and haven't seen for a long time, or watch films that they've never seen. You know, I wanted to point back to his work and to a deeper understanding of his work. But also, I think for people's own selves, there's something about a man who tried so hard, was an underdog, and wanted to score. And he did, but it was hard, and he had to work really hard, and there were times where he failed, and he dusted himself off, and he started again. And I think anybody can relate to that.
Mr. Scorsese is a deep dive and celebration of Martin Scorsese's madness and genius, as well as what propels him to continue filmmaking. Again, this 5-part documentary series is streaming on Apple TV Plus and gets an A. It's rated TVMA. For the Daily Flash, I'm film critic Tony Toscano.
Want to save big on your next car? Nick Miles shows you how to uncover hidden cash and score a better deal.
Who doesn't love a deal on a new car, but you might be surprised at where some of the best deals are hiding.
Every savvy car shopper knows the basics. Use programs like Costco Auto or AAA. Time your purchase at the month's end. Stack rebates and dealer incentives.
And even though electric cars lost their federal tax credit, the deals aren't disappearing.
Manufacturers are stepping in with steep discounts. Hyundai, BMW, Audi, and Jeep are all offering outstanding deals, but I found some extra savings. Jeep just launched a campaign where you don't even have to pass go to get cash. It's called the Monopoly Bonus Cash Allowance, and it's turning funny money into real discounts.
You can actually bring Monopoly money from your board game into your Jeep dealer and they'll give you a real break.
Between now and November 3rd, Jeep allows you to bring $500 in Monopoly play money into participating Jeep dealerships. That Monopoly cash is validated and applied against the purchase or lease of a new 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Yes, $500 in game money can knock $500 off your real car contract.
You even have a chance to win a Jeep Grand Cherokee like this.
Part of the McDonald's Monopoly game prizes also includes 10 brand new 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4x4s. Combine this $500 Monopoly money allowance with your regular discount tactics, timing your purchase, negotiating dealer markdowns, and you could walk away with an even stronger deal than expected.
$500 of Monopoly money becomes $500 off a new Jeep. I'm Nick Miles, and I love my job.
Hey, the latest weight loss medication can actually come with risks if they're not FDA approved. Here's more.
As the demand for weight loss medications skyrockets, patients are increasingly targeted with non-FDA approved knockoffs from online sellers and med spas.
Compounded drugs do not undergo the same testing and scrutiny as FDA-approved drugs, and that safety gap matters. FDA often finds that compounders use unsafe manufacturing practices, and patients using these products are twice as likely to be hospitalized compared to those on FDA-approved treatments.
Patients should consult their doctor to ensure their medicines are safe and effective.
Okay, we're going to dip our toe back into the trending stories
All
here.
right, let's
Kim
do it.
Kardashian is not crying over spilled milk. The 44-year-old reality star appeared on the Call Her Daddy podcast, and she got roasted by fans after revealing she has no concept of how much milk costs. Are we shocked by that? No, not really. But despite not knowing how much simple things like groceries might cost, the billionaire Skims founder does have a rough idea about how much her hair and makeup might be worth, saying that it could be in the millions because her hair isn't cheap.
And I got to tell you, you know, at my house, we have to have the milk that has all the letters on it. And it's what do you call it? It's got to be a grass-fed.
It's from Budapest, right?
That's the bread. And it's going to be whole milk, right?
Yeah.
$11 a gallon for this stuff. And I'm like, no, I'll get the ones without the letters all over it. So I would imagine if she bought milk, Kim Kardashian would buy the $11
milk, I'm sure. Which makes sense.
And she's a businesswoman.
That's a smart business move.
She's successful. We can't hate her for that. Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. Let's take a look at the lifestyles of the rich and famous. We're going to dive into some celebrity real estate.
Okay, here we go. We're going to start with a 19th century home in the Hamptons with ties to Truman Capote. It was just listed for $16.5 million. Here we go with some more info on his home. The Sag Harbor residence served as a place for Capote following his social exile from New York. It was built back in 1841. The home features 5,000 square feet of living space. There are 5 bedrooms, 6 baths, 2 powder rooms. A large entrance leads to formal living and dining rooms with a Truman-inspired lounge. An original oil portrait of Capote once graced the home, and Capote's 1967 red Mustang convertible is still parked outside with its Capote license plate. Both can be purchased for additional fees.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you have to add that on. Yeah. Barstool Sports president Dave Portnoy has found himself a new sanctuary in the Florida Keys, and word has it, he just purchased that compound for $27 million.
Wow.
The 48-year-old recently closed on an 8-bedroom, 9.5-bath home, the waterfront property. I guess when you're in the Keys, everything's waterfront.
That's true.
Across 10,000 square feet, amazing water views. Main residence includes 5 bedrooms, 6 baths. There's also a wine cellar. Hard to find a cellar in. I don't know if it's underground.
I don't think so.
There's
no
also
way.
a guest house with 3 bedrooms, 4 baths, private pool, chef's kitchen, and it also has a private gated drive.
I call it a wine shed, but I'm sure there's a fancier
There's
name
no way
for
in the
it.
Keys you have a cellar.
No. If you want to live like a top model, we've got just the space. It even has ties to a late-night talk show host. The Gramercy Park penthouse that model Cara Delevingne bought from Jimmy Fallon is back on the market for $11 million. The massive 4-unit triplex is located in what is considered the city's oldest surviving co-op. The 5,000 square foot residence includes a saloon, secret passageways, even a custom staircase. Primary suite on the 9th floor completes the triplex with 2 more bedrooms, and they finish out the 6-bedroom spread. Residence comes with a highly coveted key to Gramercy Park, the gated oasis that only a select few New Yorkers have ever been able to visit.
I guess, you know, when you have stuff like that and you're in New York, space is such a commodity everywhere. And to have that, it looks like a nice spread, but didn't get into Gramercy Park. How cool is that?
Oh my God, that's huge. Yeah, that's a major bonus.
We love being inside your home, and we want to thank you for it. And can you let us back in 23 hours, please?
I think so. Via your television screen?
Yeah, we can do it that way.
Or your laptop, or your desktop, or your phone.
Y'all take care. We'll see you when we look at you. Bye-bye.